Once again, we are back on our Tea Talk Egman Soch Ki train of thought with a series of episodes with Dr. Partha Mukherjee, who is a board director with Mahindra Aerospace and GIFT CIO in Australia, and also management educator in the various universities in Australia, and also with the various substantial commercial businesses to what he had handled, and also the part of complex projects across the three continents and global multinational companies like. So welcome back to this episode. So being part of an FMCG for a couple of decades and shift from that to financial services like. So how did the shift transition took place? And here being as a director of strategy, HR, mergers and acquisitions. So can you share your experience and the gut feel of taking this stand of getting into financial services?
Yeah, sure. I think there is a theme there which I can share with future managers, that don't be shy of taking something which you have never done before. Because when I was told that I need to be in the area of people, culture and transformation and acquisition and merger, most importantly the post-merger integration space, I have not done this before. But I was courageous enough to say, let me give it a try. Right. So I think now that I've given it a try and it was successful, very enriching for myself, I would like to give that theme to everyone else, that if you're a line manager, sometime you could do an HR people job. If you're probably a person in IT field, getting back into general management. So all these transformations are always enriching for an individual. So the story of Standard Chartered Bank in my life is essentially another completely different opportunity, diversified opportunity, and I plunged into it. And I think it was very rewarding for me personally. And of course, the merger has stood the test of the time, and it's one of the successful mergers. Statistically, more than 90% of the acquisition and mergers fail. So potentially this could be one of those 90%. But luckily we were in the 10% category that merger and acquisition was a successful one. So I'm part of that. So definitely it's a very enriching and rewarding experience.
So and you're learning how do you engage the leadership in the change management?
So working in a large organization, there are already standard systems and protocols. And then you work not alone, you work with people who are also supporting you. For example, I think the BCG was supporting in one area, KPMG was supporting in systems area. So therefore, even there are global consultants working with you. So I think you got all the resources in your command. The idea is that how do you align appropriately? How do you assimilate the thought? And more importantly, how do you become nimble and agile in your feet? That though concepts and general directions are given to you, how do you execute it with your flavor, with your style? I think I tried that flavor and style, which by the time I was well experienced to lead large organizations with hundreds of people, probably sometime in thousands. So therefore it was easy for me to bring my personal style into a structured global methodology, and the blend of the two really worked. The theme was again, be passionate about people, be passionate about your company, and make sure that you have a nurturing, caring and a collaborative approach, and make sure that you deploy your best intelligence, knowledge and capability and skills, all put together, it becomes a formula for success. So that's the theme I would like to give it to everyone, that don't be shy. Courageous leadership is it's rare, but it's one of the enriching one, because the risk versus reward can be maximized. You have the courage, You take the
Take
risk,
risk
and get
makes
the
the
reward.
reward. And sir, how this HR can help in navigating the change? Like many times to bring a change within an organization is a challenge. Like
See, in the change management, the most difficult part is always the people and the culture. And because if everything else other than people is systems process oriented, it could be easily rewritten to perfection. But very difficult for people and culture to be into perfection, space, because we are all diverse. We come with our own issues, sometimes baggages, sometimes positive inputs, and therefore the diversity needs to be managed, which no management science can capture. And agreements are also never perfect, so therefore some amount of trust has to be built in. Right. So if you bring that trust, then people will trust you, and you can trust people that they will do the right thing.
Correct.
I think there is no one formula, but being sensitive to the people and the culture, you will have the right navigation from the origin to the destination, and bring it to the success.
I think we have seen your earlier episode also where you have narrated in terms of how like couple of decades you were part of an FMCG, like where you have brought all the human capital at one platform and given them a freedom to function. Like at one point of a time, so the HR was more a part of an HRM, like, and your view on HR becoming a partner in strategy formulation execution now.
Yeah, HR, as I told you, there are several compartments of HR. One could be HR learning and development area. One could be the HR compensation or remuneration area. The third area could be HR, the operations area. And the fourth area could be people and culture and transformation area. So the operation, salary, remuneration, these are very structured, more back office function, if I may say so, that you can sit in your office and do it. Right. But the most difficult is how do you hire the right people?
Right.
How do you retain them? How do you ensure that the people who are not doing well, to support, coach them to do well? And if they really can't do, then it's always better to part rather than living in agony. So that part needs very matured leadership. And I think it's more wisdom-led leadership rather than theory-led leadership. The younger people needs to therefore quickly get into the wisdom level, and which is difficult unless you've seen life so much. Your wisdom line don't form to a stronger level very soon. So therefore my suggestion will be that link and leverage wise people. So actually part of my PhD is on a advancement of a model called Triple L, which I made it 4 L's. The Triple L says the linkage leverage learning model, which I added the linkage leverage learning and then learning reverse. And so we always link with someone who is wise, and then you leverage that wisdom of a wise man or a woman, and then you learn from them.
Correct.
And that is the Triple L. And then when you learn, at some point of time you will be doing so well, then you can actually impart the knowledge back to the origin. And that's what life is. You will see that first the children, they link with the parents and they learn from the parents by leveraging the linkage. But after some time the children become grown up and the reverse learning happens. They give the learning to the parents.
To the parents, yeah. Correct.
So that's my PhD model, and I'm trying to bring in philosophy of life into management education.
Nice.
So
good, great. I think in fact shift from FMCG to the financial services, and then changing gear from here to the public sector. I think it's going to be very interesting insight for our target audience. In fact, it's a great, interesting insight to what we are getting from Dr. Partha Mukherjee, exclusive on TikTok Ekman Soch ki, having a rich experience with a substantial commercial businesses where he was a part of an director, the board of a director, and also he had handled complex project across the three continent and major exposure in terms of financial services, pharma, FMCG, and public sector. We'll catch up with Dr. Partha Mukherjee in our next episode of TikTok Ekman Soch ki. Till then, go to www.ttalk.net, subscribe and like the channel as much as you can. So thanks a lot for being part of this show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.